Hi, I'm Praveen Gautam, and welcome to the Digital Perspective. This program is all about exploring your digital trends, strategies, and really practical ideas to help business to build a brand and monetize it today. Right now, I can see a number of the viewers in different social medias. Yes, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, one of our favorite channel. So if you're just tuning in and you are new, just type a new or say good day. We would love to have you in a future episode. So if you have been following us in past episodes, welcome to the show. This would be very exciting and very different today, very different live streaming. And obviously, we would talk about the events, how to maximize it. 15-20 minutes, feel comfortable wherever you are watching this from. And we will deep dive. And obviously, don't forget to give a thumbs up, comments, or any specific questions you have, or share these videos to your wider community. All right, so let's get into it. One of the questions which we have been asked about by our community's business leaders is, Praveen, how do we really engage online, especially when we are hosting the virtual event or conferences? And that's where we're going to cover up today with my special guest today. And it's very interesting, actually. His personal belief is that the technology is almost like a fire. What does that mean? Is obviously a brilliant servant or a poor master. And today we will look at some of the technologies and the ways that help us to increase the value of a client, better engagement, and obviously deliver a greater connecting with the clients day in, day out. And a little bit about him. Yes, he is the first male worldwide to be a certified virtual presenter with Power Women Worldwide. And he has produced events across Asia, Americas, Australasia. And what I found about him is he always have a fun when he does it. So let's welcome to my good friend, Warwick Mary, all the way from Melbourne. Good, mate?
How you doing? Thank you so much for having me here. I'm looking forward to a fun chat.
You bet. Well, Warwick, we both, I was just, thinking about last night. And I see a common things here. Obviously, we both believe in the power of digital, yeah? And in case here, we're talking about get events online. So obviously, you as Australia's leading online event host, my viewers right now is watching this right now, obviously, is so curious to know what does the futures looks like for business events and networking, Warwick?
Look, and events, the pandemic's really hit events hard. When it first kicked in, so many events they were postponed, or they were put on hold, then postponed, then moved, then cancelled, and across the board. And it's had such an impact because the supply chain is massive. Venues, catering, speakers, musos, producers, special effects, so much, suppliers, sponsors. So we've had to come up with a way of how do we do this? So naturally, people have gone online because digital. See, I've been producing and hosting online events for quite some time, for many years before this had happened, but it was hard to get people excited about it. The technology has come a long way, and it's so much better, so much easier now. And so therefore, what the future holds is we're looking at a combination of live where possible, some hybrid, but a lot of online events. Because the challenge is, even if we do live events in the current environment, you're restricted to one person per every 4 square meters, in some cases every 2 square meters. So that means that if you want, let's say, 200 people in a room, it has to be a 500 seat capacity room, everyone sitting at every second or third seat, every second row. The energy in the room is just not strong. So for smaller events, it's okay, but for larger events, it's just not there. So you're not getting the vibe that you get with live events. So we're going to that hybrid model of having maybe some smaller physical, some online where there's the way to connect digitally, or just going solely online. Now, I'm a big believer in online events. I love them. I think there's so many pros to having online events. They're a lot more affordable. They're easy to produce. They're easy to get onto and get off to. With everyone working from home now, it's very easy to be able to jump in to a meeting, have the session. It goes for a couple of hours and then get out again. So I think that it's an exciting time. There will be a lot. We won't be going back to the massive events that we've had for some time. I think we need to get our pandemic under control, and there will be a lot of fear around that. So I can't see massive events happening, but massive events are happening online and happening online really well with the technology that we have.
You bet. And Warwick, I love your perspectives on hybrid event. And those viewers who are watching this now, entrepreneurs or business leaders, can you a little bit, debrief it, what exactly the hybrid event is all about?
Okay, yeah, no, great question. So hybrid events are when you've got a physical get together. So you'll have a whole lot of people in the room, and you'll have your speakers, and you'll have your sponsors, and you'll have your whatever you've got. But you'll also allow other people to tap in virtually. So it means that you're broadcasting to them. But here's the trip. See, because what a lot of people do is they go, oh, well, we'll just throw some video cameras, video it, broadcast it, and we're away. But if you're doing that, it's essentially a TV show. If it's a TV show, you might as well give someone a recording so they can zip to the bit that they like, watch that, or watch it at speed and a half or whatever they want to do. My thing is, in this day and age, people don't want an event done to them. They want it done with them. They want to be part of the event. And technology allows us to do that, be it a conference app. So you can have people with a conference app online or in the room, and they're all responding. So all the Q&As can happen via the app. You can have, when we're having some breakout or you're chatting to the people who are physically around you, if you're at a table, you can set up breakout rooms online so people have their own breakout set up. So you're trying to do a bit of both. Here's the thing, and one of the most important things is they are two separate events. You've got your physical event happening, and then you've got your logical or your virtual event happening. So you need a host for the physical one, and you also need a host for the online as well, because when these guys are having a lunch break or they've gone off, all the people online, it's a great time to give them a more detailed interview with a speaker, or maybe an interview with a sponsor, or a profile of a sponsor, or profile of a member. Or there has to be, the danger of having these two events is one of the audiences gets forgotten. So it's really important to make sure that both audiences are considered, and they're considered for the entire duration of the event.
Wow. I just hear about, just to recap, is not to them, with them. So what you're saying is engaging during the whole event session, yeah? Yeah,
very much so. And it is about engagement. And it's really interesting. Some people are fantastic face-to-face or in person, but they struggle a bit with the technology. That you can't just do the same thing. You've got to recreate it. Some people are saying, here's my physical event. Now let's just plop it online. But what you've got to do is say, well, what can we do online, and how do we adapt what we may have done face-to-face to something online? So that's what we're looking to do.
And that also means that this will help to build their brand, because obviously you are not looking on the events participations who are coming on the event, but really it is maximizing globally. The audience nowadays is a global village. So what's your thought on that?
Yeah. All you need is a strong internet connection and good power, which now with the NBN, it's sometimes a bit of a challenge. But a good internet connection is really going to allow you to take advantage of a lot of the elements that are going on. So you can have global reach. I've found with my business, I've had to pivot or actually focus my business, and I'm now doing all of my business online, and I've picked up some clients in the UK, Singapore, America. Because 9 to 5 doesn't work as a time anymore. We work where the work is at the work time. Absolutely. And so you can do that from sort of anywhere. I've got a really good setup here. And this is my studio. It's a spare bedroom, but it's my studio. Right. And it has a nice look. I've got some good supplies. I've got backups so that if my computer goes down or my internet goes down, I can get back up and running again very, very quickly. So, anything's possible now.
You bet. Anything is possible. That's a great advice. So, which also follow to talk to me about, the top 3 advice for the entrepreneurs and enterprises or business leaders who are watching this right now, can work right now to build the digital brand, Warwick. So,
in terms of building a digital brand, we're really talking about how do I present better or how do I engage better online? And so I'm a big fan of live streams, consequently I'm here, but also of using video, of having open online sessions to engage with your team, your prospects, your customers, whoever, to help share some of that information. But you've got to be able to engage on camera. So there's a couple of things I'd recommend that you do. The number one simple, easy thing to do is it's not about you. Too often, there's too many entrepreneurs who love their idea, which is brilliant, but no one else cares because they're focused on their needs. So how does that become a benefit for them? So get them involved in the conversation. Again, don't have an event to them, have it with them. So ask them questions, get them involved, get the feedback from them, find out how have they used your product or service, what's been the benefit, so that it starts a conversation. You'll actually learn some surprising things about how people use your product or service. Number two, when you are online, look at the camera. Now, too often we're on some kind of webinar system or online meeting system, and it's very tempting to look down at the other person or to look at all the people on it. But I'm not looking at the camera. So you've actually got to train yourself to look at the camera. So make sure that you're looking a bit, you're through the camera is the technical term, but you're looking through the camera beyond it, because we want to connect. At the end of the day, people do business with people. So you want to connect, and the way you do it is by looking them straight in the eyes. So looking beyond the camera is a great way to connect and to be able to do that. So, have an online event, make it about them, look at the camera, and also communicate with them, but listen to what they've got to say. I think that's really important. And too often people think communicate is a one-way street, and it really is that two-way street. Look, the stereotypical saying of like you've got two ears and one mouth, use them in that order, really applies digitally as well as face-to-face. And so make sure you're taking that into account. But I would say the key thing really is to engage them and make sure it's with them and about them, not just you spouting your latest thoughts.
That's great advice, Mike. That's great advice. So, by the way, guys, if you're just tuning in, I'm with 𝗪𝒂𝒃, CSP, Australia's leading online event specialist. What he just said is it's not about you. And I remember one of our friend in Professional Speaker Association, he talks about Gary. He talks about their world, the world, and only your world. So your world is almost 5 to 7% or even lesser. And you nail it. Absolutely not about you, about them. And what you have also mentioned about is looking at the camera, looking at that, and communicating or engaging. It's a two ways, pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very much so. And look, if you're setting up your studio, there's really the three, what I call the holy trinity of your studio. And, for most of us, the studio is the kitchen or the spare bedroom. And that is, you've got to get the lighting right. And so you've got to make sure that you've got enough light so that you're not dark. For me, I've got a window on this side over here. I've got a bright light up over there, and it's just giving me enough light. And I've got a coloured light behind me that just gives a bit of a highlight. So it just lifts that little bit. You've got to make sure that you've got the right perspective on your camera. So there's a rule of thirds. And if you go to YouTube and look at rule of thirds, it'll come up and show you. But essentially, I'm sort of centered in the screen in the top half of the screen. A lot of people will try and be sort of smack center like this, and it just doesn't look quite right. You want to fill that screen. In the same way, behind me, I've got this piece over here, and it's filling that third. So it's just something about the perspective that suits well. And the third, the Holy Trinity, and the most important is you've got to get the sound right. We'll put up with dodgy video. We'll put up with a bit of stuttering in terms of how you move. We'll put up with a bad background or a bookshelf with stuff falling everywhere, but we will not tolerate poor sound. So it's worth taking the time to make sure your sound's right. And that doesn't mean it's all about your microphone. If you're in a room that's got a tiled floor or a hardwood floor, you'll get a lot of bounce. So maybe it's about putting down some mats or throwing some rugs down or putting even just your doona down for the time you're recording or having your online session. Is it closing the curtains so you're not getting that echo or the rebound of the sound? So take a little bit of time to get those three things right. It'll make such a huge difference to when you're online and presenting.
Totally. Thank you, 𝗪𝒂𝒃. I hope that's been valued. By the way, guys, if you're just tuning in right now, I'm with 𝗪𝒂𝒃, CSP, Australia's leading online event host. So if you're watching this, feel free to give a thumbs up, share, or comments. If there's any specific questions or any issues you are facing it right now on online presenting, 𝗪𝒂𝒃 is a master. So let's go a little bit deeper here, 𝗪𝒂𝒃. As you know, obviously many people in the community say you are almost a king of engagement to spice up the corporate events, conventions for different organizations, including NAV, Telstra, Vic Uni, or Queensland government, and the number of organizations you have worked. here in Australia, New Zealand, and all over the world. So those viewers who are watching this right now, what is your top 5 tips, easy tips, how business leaders and entrepreneurs can present online like a pro? Obviously, you already give a really good ideas, but what is a couple of things they need to be considered to present like a pro, Warwick?
Yeah, and this is a very common question. So we've talked about the Holy Trinity in terms of the top 3 for setting up your studio. So that's the foundation. Get that right, and then we're going to work on you as a presenter. And my thing's always been the secret to an awesome presenter is you have to be yourself, amplified. And nowhere is this more obvious than online, because when you're here, there's no one else in the room. Like Prabin's. And while he's in another part of the city, he could be half a world away. I'm here by myself. I've got a dog in the other room. That's it. So therefore, I don't have any physical energy in the room. So I have to actually build my energy a bit, project it a bit more, be a little bit more enthusiastic with a bit more of my facial features. So it really is being yourself amplified. What I mean by that is, if you're usually a more introverted, solemn person, you're not going to come on camera and go, hey, here we go, it's going to be amazing, because it's not you, right? So you've got to be you, but you have to be amplified. You have to be that little bit larger than life so that there's just that something special about how you're doing it. You can't be dull and boring online, because it will be magnified. So you've got to just lift it that little bit. So be yourself amplified is a really important point. Number 2 is make sure you know what you're there for. It's not a great place to get here and waffle. You've got to make sure that you know what is the message that I want to get across. What is it that I want to understand, and communicate that. Listen for that. Understand what it is that you're after, and make sure that you are hitting your objectives. Don't just go, oh, well, it's a half hour meeting, so it has to go for half an hour. Get in, do the communication, get your needs met, find out what you need, get off. That simple. All right. So we've got, be yourself amplified, be focused, make sure you're focused on what you're trying to achieve. And so the third thing is, again, it is really look at what are they after. So the people that you've brought into your session, your meeting, whatever, try and understand what is it that they want to achieve from it, and really put yourself in their shoes. And again, how do I do it with them? So there's some very simple engagement tools, be it some polling, or there's some external tools you can use to create essentially a digital sticky note board to get different ideas, to make sure that they have that kind of experience about that. And the fourth one is really give them some responsibility in terms of get them to do something, get them to come back with some ideas, get them to do stuff. So it's not you wagging the finger saying, it's you leading and encouraging them to come up with some of the content for the conversation that you're having. There are times when it is an information dispersal, but you've got to make sure it's the right modality for what you're trying to do. If you're just sending information, maybe a video is better than an online session. So you can just do a pre-recorded video, get everything right, short and sweet, nice, well scripted. But if it is that information gathering or trying to make sure there's a stronger connection with people, or even just a social event, I've got to tell you, online social events are actually really very powerful. And you can get, and I've done this with my family and friends, and we'll get 10 to 15 of us, and then we go into breakout little rooms of 2 or 3, have a good connection, come back, swap over. There actually can be a whole lot of fun. And in times like, as Pravin and I are here in Melbourne, so we're locked down, can't go anywhere. Yeah. It's a great way to use a resource to be able to reach out. So that would be some of the things that I would suggest, Pravin. If people want to get better at doing this kind of stuff, that would be the stuff that I would really focus on to start with.
Beauty. Mate, that's brilliant, actually. So what you're saying, again, in a nutshell, is not to them, with them. So engaging as we go along. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, very much so. And that's probably one of the foundations of what I espouse, and that is it's got to be with them, not to them. Also, technology is a brilliant tool, but a poor master. So you've got to make sure that you're using the technology for the right reasons. You're not letting the technology use you. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. So make sure you have the structure of what's the plan, what do I want, what can the technology do, and then let that happen. And the other one is just make it fun. I'm a big believer in making it fun, and people are going to listen more if it's fun. They're going to enjoy it more if it's fun. The Minister for Fun once said to me, if it's not fun, don't do it. But if you have to do it, make it fun. And that's really stuck with me, and I love that. So it's in terms of everything I do, that's what I try and do.
Right, brilliant. Thank you so much, Warwick. Thank you for your insight. I hope all the viewers who are watching this right now, they can see a lot of value in it. And to be honest, myself, I'll go back and watch myself and put some notes as well. We can always learn. We can always improve, isn't it? Even the couple of things. That's a great idea. Anything, if people, like to reach out to you and they want to help, want to take to the next level the events or anything, can you able to share anything about that, please?
Yeah, certainly. So if you want to get in touch with me, head over to my website, warwickmerry.com, or send an email. There's on there on the screen, warwick@warwickmerry.com. I'm more than happy to help. I put out a lot of content, so you'll find that all on my website and my blog there. There's a whole lot of stuff, or on LinkedIn. There's always something coming out. I also do a regular stream and talking about, again, how do we get events online and some of the key things. So check those out if there's extra resources that you need. I'm I really focus on using a couple of tools, one being Zoom, another being Remo. So if you have any questions about those, get in touch as well. So warwickmerry.com is the place to go. And if I can help, it'd be a pleasure to.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Warwick. It's great to have you, mate. Looking forward to, welcoming you in future episodes. That's a great value, mate. Thank you once again.
Thanks for having me here. It's been great.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. So if you're like Warwick today and you believe the power of digital and online events, or obviously a live streaming to help business build your brand and monetize it, feel free to reach out to me. Just the details are here, Praveen@vizznetwork.com.au. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.